For now, though, Australian lawmakers are set to vote on a new data retention law that would allow people's online metadata to be stored for 2 years. The idea has angered activists who say it just gives the authorities greater powers of surveillance. For example, one protest campaign has been particularly successful. The group behind it discovered that many politicians have linked their parliamentary addresses to that of their iMessage accounts. And that allows people to send direct messages to politicians' phones without knowing their numbers. So critics of the new law took the opportunity to give lawmakers what they've been asking for, that of personal communication. Now, George Brandis, for example, the nation's Attorney General, he is one of the most ardent advocates of the bill. He received thousands of messages. Let's show you just a few of them here on the program. For example, one user posted a message to him using emoticons, while another asked to see the politician's metadata, joking it's only for security purposes. Others suggested that George Brandis should take another read of Orwell's old 1984 novel. And this photoshopped image of him, that went viral. Well, we spoke to Ben Pennings, who kick-started the whole online campaign.
We're an activist group which tries to be creative and tries to be a bit funny, and so in the last couple of days he must have had hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of extra emails sent to him about all sorts of, little mundane things. And we're not used to this sort of, threat of being monitored so closely. So, people are resisting and reacting.
Much of the criticism of the bill centres on a lack of transparency over what can actually be considered as metadata. And it's not just the public that's apparently confused.
What you're viewing on the internet is not what we're interested in. What the security agencies want to know, to be retained, is the electronic address of the website that the web user is visiting.
So it does tell you the website?
Well, it tells you the address of the website.
That's the website, isn't it? It tells you what website you've been to.
Well, when you visit a website, people browse from one thing to the next.
Well, the stored data will actually include phone calls and email addresses, and police and security agencies would be able to access them without any type of warrant. And activist group Beyond the Green fears Australian privacy. That's at risk.
Well, the Australian government has been for a few years now under different parties wanting to put a legislation through to follow our movements and follow our communications. Finally, it seems that both major parties here are supporting that. It's all a bit ridiculous. They focus on everyone rather than, people who may be of a security concern. One of the real concerning things is that journalists and whistleblowers and lawyers are all going to have all their data kept as well, which is very dangerous in a democracy for that sort of information to be kept on people who are trying to keep the government on the straight and narrows.
All right, still to come here on RT International, the dire environmental situation on Mount Everest. Tourists there are leaving tons of trash every year, but now it's leading to concerns of diseases spreading in the area. Claims of Russian aggression are proving very useful for Hollywood, because screenwriters no longer have to think too hard about who the bad guys are. Anissa Nawe now looking at how much politics has penetrated the silver screen.
We know a media information war is in full spring, but where exactly does it stop? Hollywood, maybe, where Pussy Riot meets Vladimir Putin in House of Cards.
Thank you so much for coming, Mr. President.
Слишком давно мы не сидели за одним столом.
Виктор Иванович, вы обсудили закрытой части переговоров те вопросы, которые мы просили?
And then there's just blatant remembering of colder times with the Americans.
Мы проникли в самые верхи правительства США.
America can't protect you, the KGB is everywhere.
Joining us in the Now is Ted Rall, American political cartoonist. Are we seeing politics and policies seep into screenplays and scripts here?
Yeah, of course we are. Politics and pop culture are always intimately connected, I think, in every country, and the United States in 2015 is no exception. Pop culture tends to be the record of, really the historical record in the long run, from Apocalypse Now, the way that's people view the Vietnam War through the prism of Apocalypse Now. It just goes on and on. So I think there's no question that it has a very big influence on most Americans who are busy, working long hours, and aren't that historically knowledgeable in the first place.
We've got lots of world headlines for you today here on RT International. After a very short break, we're back with one of them, and that is a wildfire that has devastated parts of Cape Town's southern peninsula. We're back in just a sec.